Okay, so in this video, we're gonna go more into the details of defining streams and defining blocks. And again, this is mainly focusing on how to define them and how to make sure you connect them well, because there are some kind of tricks related to this connections. So again, this is the stream that we defined last time, and it's there. And if you see here, the flow sheet is not complete because there must be at least one block in the stream. But you see here that the blocks are empty. I didn't define any new blocks. So what I'm gonna do is a very simple block, or the most simple block is a mixer. So I'm gonna add two streams and mix them to get one output stream. And if you see here, you'd see that there is this arrow here. And you'd see different types of mixers, and this is what you'd see in all the cases. Here you'd see different shapes of splitters, different shapes of solid splittings. Either you would go for screening or you would go for cyclones or whatever. You can choose any of these. There are many types. There is a hooper for mixing solids. There is the mixer. There is a tank for mixing liquids if you want to store them in a tank. So there are many types, and I would just pick this because this is kind of tricky to work with, and this will be a unit to, or a good block to demonstrate the connections. First of all, you can simply make it bigger or smaller by going into these red corners. You can change the size or resize it. Again, you can rename the stream and you rename the block. For instance, I would call it F1, which is the first feed, and this is the mixer. For instance, I call it any name that you want. What I want to do is to add two streams from the left and get the output from the right. And what you would expect, that the two inputs would go from here and from here, and the output comes from here, from this T. But this is not actually the way it works. But let's see. If I want to connect this stream to the mixer on this side, what I need to do is one of two things. Either to right click on the stream and do reconnect, and you have the option either to reconnect the destination or to reconnect the source. In this case, I want to reconnect the destination. So if you do this, you would find that the mouse is taking the shape of the arrow, and or this arrow, and it gives you or the flow sheet will give you options of all the available places that can accept inputs. In this case, you have only one because it's only one block, so you can put the input here, and it tells you that this is the feed required, one or more if mixing material stream. So this will go here, just because this is the place that accepts the input. And you have, and just keep in mind that this is a red arrow, and this is red arrow because it's a required stream. So the flow sheet will not be complete if this is not connected, or if nothing is connected here. So I just click here, and now I'm done with connecting the first stream. So this is easy. I can rotate the block 90 degrees if I right click here, and then you have the option of rotating icon, either to rotate left or right, or flip horizontal or vertical. I want to flip it left, I mean right 90 degrees. It's exactly the one in Office products, so it's gonna be flipped. It has nothing to do with the simulation or the calculations, but it's very important to make sure that your flow sheet looks neat, because it makes the flow sheet easier to follow and to track, especially if you have many units and the units are kind of like have many inputs and output streams. So this is easier to work this way. Now comes the next part, which is connecting the second input stream. And if you go to the input mode, stream input mode, you would notice that there are some parts here that have different arrow colors. These colors will be either blue like these two, or red like this one. And from the arrow direction, you would expect that this and this are this is the input and the outputs are here. And this is one very weird thing in Aspen Plus, in this kind of mixers. It accepts the inputs, all the inputs here, and all the outputs will get out of this part. You have two output streams because it's optional to have two product streams, but you must have at least one output or more than one. But the required is to have one output. So what I need to do is to make the input going from this side, not from this side. So I'm gonna make it here, and then we'll see how to fix it. So I'll start from anywhere else and have two feed streams, and it looks very ugly now. You know, it's not what you'd expect to see. That the two streams are kind of squeezed in this part, and the rest of the mixer is empty. So to fix this, you can simply and please try to do it right, because if you double click instead of a single click, it will ruin everything. So what you need to do is to just click here on the red part and drag it to the other part of the mixer, or the other side. It accepts it, it doesn't have any problem with it, but you have to do it yourself, manually by yourself. And I'm gonna call it F2. And I'm gonna define F2 with any temperatures and pressures. I make it 80, make the pressure 1.5 bars, and make it a mass, make it like 50, make it the mass fraction, and put it as zero point 0.2, zero point 0.5, zero point 0.3, any inputs. I'm just putting anything. And now the last part is to define the output stream. Again, you'd see that here there in the streams you have F1 and F2. F1 should be fully defined. I don't know why it's not. Let's see. Sometimes it gets confused, and once you do the run, it works. Um, but anyways, for F1 it's defined, F2 is defined, and the blocks here you see the mixer, but the mixer is not defined, and if the flow sheet is not complete, sometimes you get confused and you don't know where is the missing part. To solve this, you can find this, either you go to the home ribbon, you'll find this next button, or it's the same here or there. If you press next, it's gonna tell you that block not complete, and the block is the mixer. So you have to define the output stream of the mixer. So what I need to do is to put this here. Again, it tells you that the output should come out from here. I can do it directly from the very first time, is to drag it here and make the output come from here. It's not gonna cause any issues with the calculations. And now I can do this, or name this as product. Again, there's something missing. I'm gonna press next, and it says that something is not defined here. I don't know, maybe it needs to have the, oh, because I defined this as mass fractions. If I do it as mass flow, it's now happy. It needs to have composition and total mass flow, and that's why I didn't notice that. So that's why it's not defined. So what I need to do now, it's now saying that the recorded input is complete, and what I need to do is to run the simulation. Um, and now it's analyzing and generating this, and I now need to see the results. It's now done. And to see the results, I need to go to the blocks. You can do it many ways, either to go to the blocks and check results. This gives you general results of the block, the outlet temperature, the outlet pressure, the vapor fraction, or you can go to the stream results. And this contains most of the information that in a simple unit like this is what you need to see. It gives you see the temperatures and the pressures of all the streams, the vapor fractions, all the information, the mass flows, and you can find the mass fractions, the mole flows, and the mass mole fractions. All the information that you are interested in are gonna be available here. You can find also information about the enthalpies, the entropies, the density, if you're interested in these kind of things. and you can change the units if you're interested in something like this. The densities of stream, everything is now available. So again, the connection of the streams to the units is pretty important. You have to make sure that you do the connections right, and you don't go into the errors of connecting the streams in wrong ways, or making more streams if you want to define them. So I'm gonna stop here, and I'll continue the next video inshallah. So I'll see you then. Goodbye.